All right, guys, as we discussed in our Zoom meeting today, we are going to go over another stock valuation problem. This was actually homework number 6 from chapter 4. It's for Procter & Gamble, and I've added some information to it. And so here we have the income statement, and then we have a balance sheet right here. Total owner's equity, that's our balance sheet. What will we use owner's equity to compute? Return on equity. And why will we compute return on equity? Because we're going to compute the sustainable growth rate. But let's do one thing at a time. Let's start by computing the PE. So PE is a multiple of earnings per share. And so we have stock price in the numerator divided by earnings per share in the denominator. Do we have the information we need? Well, we have the stock price, and we have we don't have earnings per share, but we've got the number of shares. So let's go ahead and compute the earnings per share first. And then we'll compute our PE. So our earnings per share, let's go ahead and compute it for 4 years. So for 17, 16, 15, and 14. And so we have 10,340. Net income after tax of 10,340 and 8684 and 6923 and 6156. We'll just do it for 4 years. How about that? Okay. And let's see, divided by the number of shares. This is going to be net income, and we've got 3159 and 3055 and 2516 and 2580. All right, let's get our calculators out. Get earnings per share. Second, future value second, CEC and CEC again, as we have 10,340 divided by 3159, and we have $3.27. And we have 8684 divided by 3055, and we have 284. And we have 6923 divided by 2516. And we have 2.75. And then we have 6156 divided by 2580. And we have $2.39. So I hope you see where these numbers are coming from. The net income is net income after taxes. The number of shares is the basic weighted average shares. And the earnings per share, net income divided by the number of shares. Now, we got the stock price. And we have 55.64 and 56.85 and 30.27 and 38.18. All right, so let's find the PE. So the PE is the stock price, 55.64, divided by earnings per share. So 55.64 divided by 3.27 is 17. And then 56.85 divided by 2.84, 20. And $30.27 divided by 2.75, 11. and $38.18 divided by 2.39, and we have 15.97. Let's round that up, call that 16. Ooh, that's a mess. All right. Let's find the average PE, and that would be 17 plus 20 plus 11 plus 16 equals, divided by 4, 16 is our average PE. And that is going to be the PE that we'll use we'll multiply this PE by the earnings per share that we're going to forecast. Remember the formula to find the stock price. Forecast price equals forecast fundamental times forecast multiple. The forecast fundamental would be price to sales, sales per share, EBITDA per share, earnings per share, book value per share, the accounting items that you're buying. All right, so let's go ahead and stick our PE right there. Our average PE is 16. All right, so let's go ahead and erase this here. We got to go to an electronic whiteboard. These dry erase boards don't work very well. We can do better. I think the high schools have smart boards. We don't. All right. Now that my house cleaning duties are done, let's scroll down. Okay, so let's do this. Bear with me here. Let's get this the way we want it. All right, let's go ahead and hide this, and so we can look at some things here. Boom. Okay, there we go. So let's find the 5-year CAGR of net income. So the 5-year CAGR of net income is equal to ending value divided by beginning value raised to the 1 over n minus 1. In this case, I know it says 5 years, but we only have 5 years, so n is 4. So that's going to equal 10,340 divided by 5186 raised to the 1 over 4 minus 1 times 100. And let's see what that gives us. So let's put our calculators out. 10,340 divided by 5186 equals yx4, 1 over x equals minus 1 equals times 100 equals 18.83%. Okay? Okay, now let's compute the SGR just for 2017. Okay? So, the SGR is equal to the retention rate times return on equity divided by 1 minus the retention rate times return on equity. All right, so the retention rate is earnings per share minus dividends per share divided by earnings per share. And if we said the earnings per share were $3.27, And we've got dividends paid in there, don't we? Where's our dividends paid? I thought we had dividends in there. Hold on. We don't. But let's do this. Let's say that our dividends are 3.27 times 0.25. Let's say our dividends are 81 3/4 cents. You'll see where I got that in just a second. Okay, so our earnings per share, $3.27. Okay, and our dividends, I'm making up a number, and I'm telling you it's 0.8175 divided by 3.27. Okay, and so 3.27 minus 0.8175 is equal to 2.45 divided by 3.27 equals 0.75. So our retention rate is 75%. Okay? I made this dividend number up. You're not going to find it on here, so don't go searching for it and getting confused. Don't text me, Dr. E, where did you get the dividend number? I made it up. All right. So now let's find return on equity. The return on equity is net income divided by average total owner's equity. Okay. Total owner's equity is so net income is 10,340, and total owner's equity is 66,760. Total owner's equity plus 62,908 divided by 2. Just the denominator is divided by 2, not the earnings not the net income. So we have 66,760 plus 62,908 equals divided by 2 equals, and so that's 10,340 divided by 31,454. So 10,340 divided by 31,454 is 32.87%. That's the return on equity, 32.87%. Net income divided by average total owner's equity. Now, let's find the SGR. So, it's going to be the retention rate, 0.75, times return on equity, 0.3287, divided by 1 minus 0.75 times 0.3287. So, 0.75 times 0.3287 is 0.2465. Divided by 1 minus 0.2465, which is 0.7535. So 0.2465 divided by 0.7535. Let's check that. Yep. So 0.2465 divided by 0.7535 is equal to 32.71%. All right. So now we have CAGR of 18.83% and SGR of 32.71%. So let's put this up here. CAGR, 18.81%. SGR, 32.71%. All right. And earnings per share $3.27. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of this. One step at a time, folks, one step at a time. All right. Now, understand that we did the CAGR for a 5-year period, but we only did the SGR for a 1-year period. That's why there's such a big difference. But I don't want to compute SGR for 4 years. Do you? All right, so let's average CAGR and SGR. And that's 18.81 plus 32.71 divided by 2. And we get 25.76. That's going to be the growth rate we're going to use. 25.76. Okay? Now, we're going to have to project. We can go ahead and project net income. Let's go ahead and project net income. So 2018 net income is equal to 2017 net income times 1 plus the growth rate. So 2017 is 10,340 times 1 plus 0.2576. That's why we calculated that. It's the growth rate. It's the average of the CAGR and the SGR. So 10,340 times 1.2576 is equal to 13,003.58. Okay? Now, let's find the CAGR of the number of shares, because the number of shares have been changing. So, we have 3159 divided by 2593. Raised to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minus 1 is 4. Raised to the 1 over 4 minus 1 times 100. So we have, let's clear our calculators out, second future value, second CEC and CEC again, and we have 3159 divided by 2593 equals YX4, 1 over X, so that's 0.25, equals, minus 1 is 0.05, minus 1 equals times 100, and that's 5.06%. So the number of shares have been growing an average of 5.06% a year. So, number of shares in 2018 equals 3159, number of shares last year, times 1.0506, the growth 1 plus the growth rate. So 3159 times 1.0506 is 3318.85. That's how many shares are going to be outstanding. So let's do our earnings per share forecast. EPS is equal to net income divided by the number of shares, and that's 13,003.58 divided by 3318.85. $13,003.58 divided by 3318.85 is $3.92. That is our forecast of, so 2018 earnings per share, 2018 EPS equals $3.92. All right, so hopefully you've been filling in the squares as we've been going. Come on. Okay. All right. So now we've got our average PE, and we've got our forecast earnings per share. Let's scrub away all of this. I think we're good to go with that. All right, so our forecast price is equal to $3.92 times 16. $62.72. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and adjust. Let's say that our growth rate is going to be growth goes to 20%. All right, what's happening to our growth rate? It is going down. It was, the average was, let's see, 18.81 plus 32.71 equals divided by 2. Growth was 25.76%. Now it's going to 20%. Okay? So first, what will our new earnings per share be? It will be $3.27, last year's earnings per share, times 1.2. 3.27 times 1.2 . No, hold on. How can that be? Where did that come from? Hold on. Earnings per share, 3.27 times 1.2576. Calculator. 3.27 times 1.2576. $4.11. How did I mess that up?